Hello everybody and welcome to the first episode of University. My name is Mahyar and today we finally came to the studio and I have everything set up. Took about 20 minutes solid about setting up and with all the story I had. And I finally start the podcast. It's the first episode and I sit down with the professor, staff, and university student and talk about them life, the challenges, the path they've been through, all the highs and lows. And we'd like to hear it in an honest way. Surely, let's do it. And for today, we have a guest, Professor Matthew. How you doing, Doctor?
I'm doing great. I didn't realize I was your first guest. I feel very honored.
Yes. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation.
Mm-hmm.
It was my honor having you, and it's been a actually great day so far. It's not raining.
Yeah, beautiful sunny day.
And right off the bat, how was this semester?
How was this past semester?
Yes.
Whew, it was a good one. It was a tough one. Our winters here in Canada are long. The sunlight is short. I was very busy. I was teaching this evening course that you participated in. I was working another evening in our clinic. It was a busy one. I was really happy to have the term transition into summer where things are a little bit more relaxed.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
For me personally, was less work. Because so far it's my third year at university.
Yeah.
So first year and a half, I was just learning. And I was doing it sometimes in the wrong way.
Yeah.
A lot of downs I had.
Sure.
So I had to get it out of it. And personally, I think now I just know how should I study, how should I go, how should I... And there is no video or anything out there to teach you how. There are some ideas, but you have to find your own way.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody gets rich by just selling item.
Yeah.
Some people sell idea. So, and now in this final, in the fall and winter we had, the both was just good. Nothing really bad happened, nothing unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
So finally I sit back and just watch the path goes.
That's true.
Is that same as you when you were a student?
It was. I remember coming from high school where I really didn't work very hard in high school. I was one of those students, I would say, that just kind of coasted, got okay grades, some better than others, and but had, aspirations of, doing something through education, through post-secondary, but first year, second year, very hard because I had never had to try before, never had to work hard before. I didn't know how. So if I look at that transcript, which I still keep around, it's not great, but it gets better third, fourth year, fifth year. So that was my experience, and I think that's the experience of a lot of people.
I think I'm the type of person that's gonna go for the fifth year.
Yeah.
Because first of all, I do have a co-op, because in the computer and science you get the position of the co-op. And second of all, I was not doing good at one of my courses. Pretty much you know about it.
Yeah.
So I had to just do it over time. And that was the thing. They told me I have to be precise about it. And what I really like to know about, I guess I couldn't find anything out there on the internet that a student that do interview with a professor and sit down having a chit chat and nothing really professional and formal goes on. So if you want to tell me about your background and how you became a professor, how would you consider that? You had the dream to be a professor?
No, not at all. I mean, not to say that I, never thought that would be something I would do. But coming out of high school, coming into first year, I thought I was going to be a philosopher, a poet, a writer maybe. I loved reading and writing and still do. But one of the first grades I ever got back was an F in first year English. And so, not to say that was the experience that kind of put me off that path, but I guess psychology, something about it started to pull me. And I guess what it was is that I was always interested in people, in helping people, interested in the human mind and behavior and brains. And so I often say that I really just sort of didn't follow a plan, more just sort of followed the things that seemed interesting to me. And so that resulted in me doing an honors degree,
All right.
Doing a thesis, and then after graduating, not really knowing what to do.
So just keep going.
And I worked for a year, and then I had applied to this counseling graduate degree program here at UNB.
Yes.
And took that. When I first was accepted into it, I was accepted on a part-time basis. So they only accepted a smaller number of people full-time. But I didn't like that. I thought if I was going to complete this degree part-time, it would have taken me forever.
Oh.
And so honestly, I think I just kind of charmed my way into being able to take a full course load. And so I took a full-time course load, and I did finish the coursework for that pretty quickly. I did complete my internship for that pretty quickly, but man, did I drag my heels on my master's thesis. Like, we're talking way too many years of, it kind of dragging on. And then at a certain point, I took a job here at the university working at the Student Accessibility Center. That led to a similar job in Nova Scotia. Then I came back to UNB and ended up teaching just because of a little bit of being in the right place at the right time. But a part of that was me saying, like, we should be teaching mental health.
Exactly.
Because if you look at, the courses that are offered, yes, you've got psychology, but that's not about
reality.
It's about mental health, but not approaching it from the sense of like, let's teach you how to take care of your own mental health. And I firmly believed and had for a long time that it was something that we should teach. And then just having some people in academic leadership roles that were sympathetic to that idea resulted in 2 different courses being created that I've taught. One I've taught for only 2 years now. That's the Arts 2001 Mental Health Literacy, where you and I first met. And then there's another course through the Technology Management Entrepreneurial Program, which you completed this past winter, and been teaching that one for quite a bit longer. I think we taught for the year before COVID, so 2019 we started that.
Oh, that's a decent year. So since you said you've been a counselor in UNB for
10 years, this is my 10th year in this
university,
job.
I guess we have to cheers it up. So what's something students often misunderstand about your field or your role?
There still is a lot of misunderstanding and a lot of stigma around mental health. People feel like it's a hard thing to talk about.
Put it out, exactly.
Because, they fear judgment, really. Humans are a very social species. We by design care what other people think of us, how they evaluate us, how they judge us. We're hardwired to do that. And, a lot of people can sort of grow up in environments and family environments, and then even just sort of more broadly culturally, I still think there is a lot of stigma. So associated with that would probably be this key misunderstanding about, well, what exactly do we mean when we say mental health? And most people, when we say mental health, they think of mental illness, right? And they think of people like who are really sick, really struggling. And certainly that is not uncommon. There are people who really significantly struggle with their mental health, but it's a huge spectrum, and everyone does have mental health. Everyone will experience ups and downs, normal variations in mood, and a good number of us, will experience significant challenges.
So me, when I first met you, remember where was it?
Yeah, in Arts 2001.
Before that?
Did we meet before that?
Oh yeah. You had that some sort of event for that art courses, and it was kind of promotion and promote that course to the CS student. Was it?
Yeah, that's where we first met.
That's where we first met. And I got interested in your course, and I noticed it when you were talking about body shaming or how people should seek for help instead of trying to heal themselves, which is possible, but in some cases we need the person to sit down and talk with it. So, and then after that I met you at the gym, and we got...
Oh yeah, that's right, because I'm always at the gym, you're at the gym.
I play basketball.
Yeah.
But I couldn't play for like 3 weeks. I had an accident. So I have a scooter, electronic scooter.
Right.
So I was coming down a hill. I have a really high speed, but I wasn't pushing the gas. I was not that person.
You're just coasting, yeah.
I cut a brake. But what happened was, I have a brake, but not a front. I only have back. And my engine is on the front, and only front wheel on the one that's spinning.
Yeah.
So I lost the control, so I jumped over the street. And my knee was gone. Both of them. My elbow was gone, and my head and my belly was... So I couldn't play for so... And this episode, or this podcast, would have been recorded maybe 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
I was just waiting for the first couple things. First, for myself get healed up, and second of all, because I know some of the student and professors are busy with, grading a finals.
Sure.
Because some of the quizzes or finals, better say, get deferral and get moved to another date. So professors are still busy after done with the April. So I had to just wait, and then that happened. And at the weekend of that week that happened, that accident, I had the final.
Oh my goodness.
And I called a couple of my friends. Nobody answered. So I had to back home. My back home wasn't really far away. So I walked there. My jean was my pants was gone. My shirt was bloody. So I thought I cut something, went through or something.
Yeah. So
I came home and I washed it under the shower just slowly, and I noticed that there's something here. It's still...
I can see it.
So I noticed something's here, and it was black. And I look at it, and I couldn't move a bit because it was so painful. And noticed that there's a stone in mine.
Yeah.
So when I take out the stone, that stone went drop on the floor. It sounded like a bullet, and it's still here in my nose.
Jeez.
Boom. And so I had nothing to take care of. I just had couple clothes I had to rip it off.
Yeah.
So I put salt on it.
Yeah.
And I put it on my knee, elbow. And it was really bad.
Yeah, that's a bad accident.
Yeah. And I seek for the help, as you said it, but nobody replied. But I heal myself. That's the skill, I guess, everybody should have learned. Maybe there are some people that worse or nothing really worse than that would happen to them. And they are expect from people to just, at least give them a call or just talk to them or just come and visit them.
Yeah.
But I think people at this stage of life, I notice it. Okay, I'm not going to say people don't care about you, but there are some level of the life that you should handle them. I know it's get really worse. I even called my friend and he didn't answer, and later on he answered, and he, matter of fact, sent me a text and asked how am I doing, what happened, and I totally just give him a briefly explanation, nothing really deeply. And, well, nothing really happened. He didn't really call back or ask for it. said, okay, that's fine. I understand it. But if that was me 3 years ago, I'm like, well, he didn't respond to me.
Yeah, you would
Just
have
cut it out.
differently.
Just work with that guy. That guy's
Yeah.
not my friend.
Yeah.
But better just sit back and so I have learned healing yourself is one of the key. And I see around the campus a lot of students seeking for the help, which is true, and they should, but they don't know. They do not know where they should go.
Yeah, and I guess that's what we hope to do is partly is teach people, how to heal themselves, how to help themselves.
And do you think about healing and working with a student, trying to help with him? What was the most enjoyable moment you had?
I mean, I think the Arts 2001 course.
Was it good?
That I remember, especially the first one. Like, I was just so excited about that, so thankful that it was happening, and had thought about it for one of those things you think about for a long time, and then it finally happens, and you feel really good.
It was actually really enjoyable. A few months ago, I met the guy who was sitting on my right hand side. I forget his name. Sorry about it.
Yeah, I can kind of picture him.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then later on, he asked what we're doing. I said, well, I took another course with the doctor. And he's a really calm person. Nothing really drama going on in the class. Nobody really talk loud. Because in some courses, we have that cases. People talk back instead of sitting. I don't know when you sit in the class, what is really important than the lecture, which is really happening once.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's right.
You might be able to record it if you have a permission. But rather than that, if you lost it, you lost. Literally. So for me, sitting in your class is kind of down and nothing really going on. You just listen. And your class was one of the few one beside my music class. You could learn and listen instead of writing it down. I see some people writing it down. And what was good about it, I've learned some life skill in your class instead of learning some math. I mean, I don't say that.
Yeah.
I learned some skill how to deal with people, and I actually brought it out on their life.
Yeah.
Man, I was in a band. It was last year. I met the guy, and he asked if I'm on the line. I said yes, but I was on a cut somehow, and he didn't notice it. And I noticed it. He wasn't in a good mood or didn't have a really good day. So I tried to help him out. I said, you can go ahead. He said, sure. I said, yeah. And he was elder, so of course show him respect.
Yeah. So
he went and done a job and then come back. I said, handshake me and said, man, you're a good guy. I appreciate you. I said,
that's so great. You are a great guy. Yeah.
So I haven't done anything. I wasn't in a rush or anything. I just want to change, I guess, my password or something like that. And just helping your people with that good little thing can change the whole day probably for them.
Yeah.
Maybe for a week, matter of fact.
Oh, yeah. These small acts of kindness, yeah.
And sometimes I get to that life level. I sit down with people and talk about it live. I do not have that experience. So I cannot advise or share my experience, but a better lesson and then come home and then comprehend it and understand the situation. And I even don't leave a comment or any feedback because my comment might change something if I don't have experience on that thing. So that was one of the things I actually learned in your class, and I really want to appreciate you. That was really enjoyable. And I want to know now here we heard about you said how it was enjoyable to help a student. I want to now hear about what's the one thing you wish more students would do or stop doing that.
I think that I think it's tough for young people right now, and sometimes it's said that every generation of youth has their challenge, and none is greater than others, and maybe that's true. I don't know, but I think when I look at the world that young people are inhabiting now, there are a lot of things that are not their fault, that they've been given that are actually harmful to their health. You know, in large measure, phones, social media, you know, have not been great for us as a species. And similarly, the world that we're kind of handing over isn't great. You know, our world is really focused on attacking others, on thinking that other people are the problem. And so I think that I have a lot of empathy for young people because of that. And because I think one thing that we don't see, for example, right now is the same level of sort of political organization or involvement amongst young people that we would have seen in the past. And again, I'm not laying that blame at the feet of young people, because it was the world that we gave them. So I hear constantly from young people, from students, that, you know, they see these problems and they don't know what to do. And I think there's a responsibility on us as, you know, older people to do better for our young people. So what's something I wish young people did more of? Was organize themselves and look at each other and say, hey, we don't like what is going on and we want to change it. You know, and that does happen. You know, there are certain young people, certain movements and organizations where that's
Absolutely.
happening.
If we want to get to your personal life and we want to know how you balance your professional life, mm-hmm. which is in university, mm-hmm. and your personal life. Because once you step in a home, you're a father. You're the man of the home and you have your own family. But once you come here, everybody see you different. And we don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
And you have that high level, you have that really great thing everybody do. But in a home or in a town, is that same? Is that having the same vibe or just...
Yeah, I've always felt like someone whose professional experiences and area really overlapped with home too, right? Because, you know, I'm interested in well-being and communication and what we can do to be healthy. So in that way, who I am at home and who I am at work, there's a lot of overlap. But you're right, it's hard. You know, I think the modern world, meaning like the world as it exists now, I think it's harder for families. I think it's hard for families to have enough resources. Resources in the sense of time, energy, but also financial resources to have the same kind of quality of life that, you know, at least if I think of it here in North America, you know, family life, cultural life, society has changed dramatically over decades. Some of that stuff is good, you know, more balanced gender roles is an example, that's good. But one thing that we've seen too is the near erasure of what are now called third spaces, right? They aren't home, they aren't work, where communities would gather and connect. And in North America, those have largely disappeared. And I think there's various reasons for that, but I think a part of it, and I think of my own situation, like I don't have the time, the energy to be doing these other things. It's pretty much go to work, do all the stuff I need to do here, go home, interact with my family, do the chores, and then I'm done.
Because everybody have that limit of the energy, right?
That's right.
You can't overdo, but at the end of the day, you are exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
So like myself, last night, I was here for just make sure the studio time and the studio session is going well. and everything, and I had to go to the do shopping. So once I got home, so I was gonna go prepare milkshake.
Yeah.
So I was so exhausted. I was almost about to throw out the banana and put a skin.
Yeah. Hilarious.
And I put the food inside a microwave in the fridge.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
Tired. Oh yeah.
just get it. And yet that's actually true. And when I sit back and just ask myself, then how my father managed the whole family, how he does the work, do the shopping, come home, spend the time. Wow. So I see now why they say, if you want to marry, if you want to make a family, just sit back and think about yourself.
Sure.
Are you a really responsible person?
Yeah.
Because all of that take a lot of time, a lot of effort. And with that, I think that's one of the reason to have some sort of, we cannot schedule it, can we?
Yeah.
Can we schedule it?
No. It's you can't. That's so hard to do, and I think that makes it difficult for in terms of how we work as physical beings, as biological organisms. It makes that hard.
And I really like it when I see it on a campus or on some classes that professor have a deadline time or due line, but the submission folder is still open. And you can open it if you are late.
Right.
So that means they know the reality, they understand the reality. They also want to make you responsible for your stuff, of course, for your assignment, for your project. But on the other hand, if you are late for like a day, for like a half an hour or 2 hours, it's not really a big deal.
Yeah. No, and I think all of this, like, we have to have deadlines. There's deadlines in the real world. All of that is based on, rooted in this idea of competition. We have to constantly be doing better and dealing with all these things. I just don't think as humans that's how we should be organizing ourselves or the values that we have. I think we should be focused more on slowing down and cooperation, right? Instead of having to do better and outperform our neighbor, right? Because none of that has to do with health or well-being or enjoying life.
Exactly.
Yeah. What are you drinking?
Water.
Just water, okay. Yeah, me too.
Well, I had that milkshake going on, but the blender stopped working, and I noticed it because in North America, the voltage is different.
Yeah.
It's 112?
120?
120.
Yeah.
But in other side
Right.
of the board, it's 320 or 340.
Yeah.
So that thing doesn't work. I don't understand it. And I have to go. And I try my power bank because it takes Type-C to charge.
Yeah.
And that cup, that bottle is in the home with the
Shoot.
shoe.
Yeah.
All right. So we back on resuming the podcast.
Okay.
And we are at the universe. And I really appreciate it if you like your video, leave a comment. Any question from other professor or other staff we will have, because we will have different season.
Great.
And each season we have 4 to 5 episode.
Okay.
And then that season gonna be only professor, only a staff, only a
Oh,
student.
interesting. Okay, very cool.
Yeah, that's the idea.
I like it.
I spoiled it. But back to the question. Any question as a professor to a student so far?
I love talking to and hearing from students. In fact, I wish I could do a lot more of it. I wish we did a lot more of it. One of the things that I feel like I've learned, and I kind of mentioned it already, is rethinking our relationship with youth, with students, and thinking about what do we really owe them, and should we not be giving them more say, more power to determine the shape of things? Because quite frankly, us older generations, we're not doing a bang up job. So I think, and I don't think you have to be a parent to feel this, but parents maybe do, want things to be better for their children. So, when I think of what do I want to know, it's well, what do you want? What do you need? How do you wish things were different? And not just ask and listen, but act on what we're told.
I guess that's one of the reasons we have a survey by the end of each semester.
Yeah.
But there is a big mistake with that survey.
And
I really want, I guess you are the one that I can actually tell to. Because the survey will provide the feedback of the student by end of the semester.
Yeah.
And if there is a mistake, if there is any changes, will apply to the next semester, next people.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna say we sacrifice the student, but we don't see the changes.
Yeah.
So isn't it the better idea to have that survey in the middle of the semester by the break?
Yeah. No, for sure. And I think that, whenever I'm teaching courses, I like to do, I definitely did this in Arts 2001 mental health literacy, right?
Yes.
Like, tell me how things are going. Like, what do you want to see? What's working well for you? What do you want changed? So that it can actually impact the experience of the students in that particular class.
And I think it would be either have both of a survey in the middle or at the end, or move that because I'm saying, okay, I wish we had more tutorial, for example, for math, but that professor maybe not gonna see that, or maybe if I'm telling in person, not gonna really take it serious, because they already organize and schedule the classes, right?
Yeah.
Once they share the syllabus.
Yeah.
So once I tell and write it in feedback, it goes for either if I, for example, did write it for a winter course, so it's gonna get to the next semester and I'm not gonna see it.
Yeah.
Which is, one of our professors said, you are the paid customer. You are the one that, because we are the one that count on you for the future. We are preparing you to deal with the highs and lows in a reality, in a life, or in a professional life. I guess that was the idea. Especially you're the one that can, in a counselor, because I know you had the meeting the other day, you mentioned it.
Yeah.
If you share that idea as a student, the person with a higher level and higher power in a university level, that would be a great idea. I appreciate you. And a lot of students, including me, want to know, do you play a game? Are you a gamer?
I am a gamer. I was, had a Nintendo.
Oh, you're the old school.
In the 80s. And then had a Super Nintendo. And then got a PC. A 386. That cost at the time a lot of money. And then I went from PC for a long time.
Console?
And then I got a PlayStation 2, and then a PlayStation 3, and then 4. I don't have a 5. And I had an Xbox 360 in there as well. But then doing more PC gaming again more recently, but then also tabletop games. I've long been a board game guy.
I'm the fan.
Tabletop role-playing game guy. Yeah, we did.
What was the game called?
Did we play...
The one that dive in the ocean?
Yeah.
And you bring, detergent?
What's that called? But yeah, the game...
Matter of fact, I'll leave it in the description.
Yeah, it's a great game. Small footprint. Doesn't cost very much, but
you can
really
do
fun.
it if you want to either 3D print it or like...
Oh, yeah, you could.
Because that's not really have a lot of material or
No,
anything.
it doesn't. Yeah. You could even make it out of cardboard or paper, yeah. So, I love games. I use games for therapy as well. Because, games give us a chance to play with things. They allow us to be creative and innovative, and all that stuff works really well for therapy.
Especially as a student, when I play a game and English is my second language, it helped a lot.
I'm sure.
And other day, I haven't played a game for 100 days and one. Yes. So once I started playing it, it was another world. And I bought a gaming console.
Yeah.
I bought a Asus ROG Ally X. It's like a Nintendo,
Okay, cool.
but it's much more powerful. Have a graphic card.
Yeah.
Has a Windows on it, 1 TB SSD, so you can literally play everything.
Yeah.
And it's handheld game.
Cool.
So so far I've completed 4 games.
Nice.
I just go and do it because I haven't played so many games. It's been so long, so I have to go on through it and do it. And it helped in English. And the other day I was playing Call of Duty and they say KIA. What's KIA? Good.
Yeah, you had to look
Killed
it up.
in action.
Yeah. Yeah.
So me and my coworker, when they're talking, they asked me if I want to go on break. I said, yeah, because somebody KIA. I already passed away.
That's great.
Yes. So for the last question,
Okay.
if you could go back and give advice to your university age self, what would you say? This is a
Spend less time goofing off.
Oh, really?
No. It's, you know, I can't be too upset out of anything that happened or that I did. And I still feel very close to that time, you know, because I was here at UMB, you know, and I lived not too far from here. I had, you know, this apartment downtown, and
so whole education happened here.
I happened here at UMB, and I grew up here in Fredericton, and so I feel still close to those memories, that time, and I guess the other thing is enjoy all that free time.
Sleep more.
You know. But yeah, I had a great time. I had a great time as a student. You know, were there things that I struggled with in terms of, you know, my mental health and relationships? Yeah, but those are all kind of like necessary steps along the way.
I guess all of that made you a person you are right now.
That's it. And I often, like, I have really struggled. I have really struggled with my own mental health.
Everybody
too.
in these.
And I feel that does help me because I can be honest and real with other people. I don't have a pretense about being better than anyone, because no one is. But I know that. Some people don't realize that yet. And I think that really helps me connect with people and be authentic. And I can see it when I'm that way in the class with students and how they respond so well to me just being open and genuine to them. I really see what it means to them, that it means something really good.
Okay. So the honestly is the best way.
You know, honesty is the best way.
All right. I really appreciate you. Thank you for coming. It was a pleasure to having you. It was absolutely honor, and as always, you have my honor and respect.
And I reflect that back to you, Mahyar. It's you've been a really great person to get to know. I feel like you have such great ideas and ways of seeing things. So I've really loved getting to teach you in 2 courses and getting to know you outside of those.
Hopefully more courses in a coming semester. You will start. We'll see.
Wouldn't that be great?
Never know. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. It was a pleasure to having you. Until next episode, not 99, but 100. Peace out.